Hello and welcome to AdvancePro University. Today we're going to be giving you a basic tour of AdvancePro version 11. Let's go ahead and get started. So this is AdvancePro. I've just logged in. Here we have our fictional company, Great Gift. Now, AdvancePro is designed as a single point of entry for all of your inventory tracking needs. So if you're working with QuickBooks, the way it's going to work is we can bring in your data from QuickBooks, or we can bring it in from an Excel spreadsheet if you're working with AdvancePro standalone. And from that point forward, AdvancePro is going to work as the place where you go to enter purchase orders to a vendor, sales orders from customers. It's going to help you manage the nuts and bolts of shipping and receiving product, even manufacturing. And then finally, it's going to produce invoices and bills that correspond with your operations so that you can go ahead and pay your vendors and get paid by your customers. We're going to cover all of that today. Manufacturing will be covered in a separate video. Now, as I mentioned, it is built to work with QuickBooks. So if you are working with QuickBooks, at the ends of these transactions, once you've done your order, once you've done the receiving or shipping that's related to that order, it's going to sync that bill or invoice over to QuickBooks seamlessly. So QuickBooks, you can very easily control who goes into QuickBooks and who doesn't. You have a much better grasp over your inventory than QuickBooks offers. And last but not least, you're going to have this very clean situation in QuickBooks where you're really just looking at orders and invoices to pay and invoices to go ahead and get paid on, to receive on. So now let's go straight into a vendor order. So I'm just going to go to New Order. We're going to choose a vendor. And as I move into this order now, I can set up all of the basic instructions that I'm going to give my vendor. I can let them know the payment terms that we get from them. We can tell them the carrier to ship with. And if we have multiple warehouses, we can also tell them what warehouse to ship to. Now there's a couple ways to add items to this order. Here we can just do a list of all of the items that this particular vendor sells us. And then we can filter that below to see what's below our reorder levels. So here we've got our stock level that's current, we've got the reorder level, and target stock that we've set up. So here we can see what we're low on and order enough to get up to our targets very quickly. We can just click and check all of those off, and then we can add them to this order immediately if we need to. Now we can also work just by typing in all or part of a SKU. We can add items to the order very quickly that way as well. I'll just give us some quantity here. And we can print this order off, we can turn it into an Excel file or a PDF, and we can email it directly from AdvancePro using our email button right here. I'm going to go ahead and place this order. So the order is now in transit on its way to the warehouse. And if we go to our warehouse panel right now, this is going to lay out what our warehouse workers need to look at today and in the future. So we can go to Orders to Receive. We can see when this order is expected to arrive. We can see what carrier it's expected to come in on, the vendor that it's coming from, and when it arrives, we can go ahead and open that up, either here on the desktop or using our AdvancePro mobile app for receiving and shipping. And that runs on iOS and Android, and it does support infrared scanning. We can also work with the scanner here on the desktop using our scanner search option as well. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and receive our stock in. Now, if we get shorted by our vendor, say we ordered 10 but we only receive 8 units, AdvancePro is going to use this information to make the bill. So the bill will always reflect what was actually received, as opposed to items that you may have ordered but never actually got. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put in a bill or a reference number, and this is actually just as a hint so that, or a bit of information so that our accountant can know what transaction this relates to. And we can also put in lot and serial numbers. So if we want to track a lot number, we could either scan it in, enter it manually, or bring it in from an Excel file. I'm going to go ahead and receive that stock in now. So this is the point where our stock level goes up. So we can immediately turn around and ship that product off if we need to. And it creates a bill. So here I can come to our vendor panel. We can go to View All Bills and Credit Memos. We can open up that pending bill. We can reconcile it. We can add freight charges to it using our freight module. And this way we can easily have the freight payable made up as well as associate our landed cost in one quick step. And when we hit Create Bill, this is going to send this bill off to QuickBooks on the next sync, as well as finish that transaction in AdvancePro. So it's now finalized. In terms of the QuickBooks sync, if you are using QuickBooks with AdvancePro, this is a seamless process as long as you're using AdvancePro and QuickBooks in multi-user mode. Now, this is a fully automatic process, so you can just be working away in QuickBooks, and you'll see a few new transactions pop up there as they finish up in AdvancePro and get synced over. It can run on a timer as often as every hour. Often, our customers can run this once an hour, once a day, whatever works for them, or you can do manual pushes as well. You do also have full control about where in QuickBooks your particular transactions move into by account. You can also set up special rules by category or by customer or by vendor. So that covers bringing product in, ordering it from a vendor, receiving it, and paying for it. Now we're going to deal with the customer order, the sales order. So we're going to come to customers now. We're going to click on New Order. I'm going to go ahead and choose a customer from a list, or you can search them out. If you deal with customers with multiple shipping addresses, you can choose the appropriate shipping address. We can store many, many shipping addresses for every customer. Now we can also come in here to view order history, and we can take a look at what's been ordered before. Here we can very, very easily just check off items that we want to add to the order we're about to create. Now we can also check off the invoice history and see if everything is paid up. In this case, the customer hasn't paid in a while. So this way we can have all of this information before we make a sale. Let's go ahead and proceed. So at this point, we've got an item on the order. This is very, very similar to a vendor order, except now items are on the way out. If we like, we can take payment up front using our payment module. Now we do process credit cards in AdvancePro if you want to run credit cards. We work through Authorize.net, PayFlow Pro, or Virtual Merchant. And here we can also go ahead and accept checks, cash. This is a customizable list of payment methods. Now, if you do that, the payment will also sync down into QuickBooks as well. And if you take a payment in QuickBooks, it will come back to AdvancePro. So again, we can print off or export this order going out to the customer. We can save it as a quotation instead of a sales order if we like. And we can very easily email that off to the customer using those email buttons there. Now when we place the order, the next step is that we're asked to then commit stock to this order. So when I place this order now, here we have our item that's on the order, the item in demand, and we can choose to fill it from the stock in our warehouse. And for customers that are closer to one warehouse than another, we can preset it to recommend the correct warehouse for that customer. Now, if we don't want to pull it from our stock, or if we're out, the next stage is we can create a vendor order for that product. So here, this will actually create a brand new vendor order, or if we have an open order that we haven't sent to the vendor, it'll add it to the vendor order. So we can have a big rolling vendor order for all of our customers if we need to. And that'll bring it into our warehouse just like we saw before. And then we can go ahead and ship that out to our customer. Now this checkbox on the end will still make a vendor order, but it will make it as a drop shipment to our customer's shipping address. So then we don't bring it through our warehouse, we just confirm when it's been shipped, and then it will create the bill and invoice respectively for the customer and vendor. And this last checkbox on the end is just for a special group of products called assembly items, and these items are available for manufacturers. So this will actually create a work order to go build some product if you need that. So now we're going to process this order. It's going to tell us the results. So here it made a pick ticket. It did not make a vendor order. It did not make a work order. So we can click here to go directly to that pick ticket, or we can see that pick ticket here in our warehouse. So we'll come into the warehouse. We can come into orders to pick, and we can open up our picking ticket. Now at this point we could use our scanning app again, or we can scan here from the desktop. I'm going to go ahead and just check that off as picked. Now we can move through picking, packing, and shipping as separate stages, as you can see from our warehouse dashboard, or I can do it all at once. And in this case I'm going to do it all at once. I'm just going to go ahead and click ship. Now I can, if I want to, actually go in and print off here a pick ticket or a shipping slip, and I can also assign a tracking number to this order before I ship. Now, something I should mention is during this stage, as we're getting ready to ship product out, AdvancePro already knows that this has been reserved for a customer. So we can't accidentally sell more stock than we have, and it's actually going to tell us now that it's not available to sell. So that's going to be worked into our reordering reports, so that we're going to know that we're short on that product, even though we haven't finished shipping it out yet. Now, you'll also see that we have a UPS and FedEx integration available here. This is going to push the information about this shipment over to UPS WorldShip or the FedEx Desktop Manager, so that you can go ahead and get your tracking number, your quotation, and your ticket that goes as a sticker on your package. You can go ahead and ship that out. Now, if you're shipping with anybody else, you can always put in the tracking information and costs manually, and we'll go ahead and submit this. If we want, we can also show the lot or serial number that this is attached to as well. Let's go ahead and submit that. So as soon as the products are shipped to the customer, it uses the shipment information to create an invoice. So when we go to customers, we can go to view all invoices and credit memos, and we can open up the new invoice that's been created. Here we can make adjustments if we need to. We can send this off to the customer by email. We can print off our final invoice. And this is all customizable once again. You'll see there's a number of custom fields we've already built into this. And finally, when we hit Create Invoice, that finishes the sales transaction in AdvancePro. It does turn it into a collectible, so it'll open up payment against this invoice, and it's going to send it over to QuickBooks as well. So you can take that payment in QuickBooks or here in AdvancePro. As we open it up, we can go ahead and go into our payment module again. So this concludes our brief tour of AdvancePro 11 and how it works on a very basic scale. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to one of our AdvancePro advisors. Thank you for watching.